Well, today we're going to try baling some hay. But first, before we do that, we have to run over to where the big baler is stored and blow up a tire on it. Jared went over late last night with a 4620 to bring the baler home because our baler tractor is still hooked to the corn planter. I wanted to run around this one more time and just rinse this off. We just got a little bit of dirt, dust, residue up on top here. We need to rinse it off and then run over and put it away, or else he would have went over to pick that baler up with this tractor. We're going to have to take this compressor over to blow the tire up because the transmission is gone in the service truck and we haven't had time to sort that problem out yet. So a little overkill to blow a tire up, but we also have some tools with us to aid in taking the tire off if, in the event that we can't get wind to go into it, we'll go ahead and just take the tire off. But at any rate, that's what we're working on, right, bub? Yeah. All right, I'll get over there, get that back here. Well, this is the tire that needs a little wind. We were just over here, a few weeks ago. We had the fuel trailer parked in the building next door, and that tire was fine. So, in a perfect world, we would have came over here with the army truck and helped him hook up, but yeah, we didn't do it that way. So we ended up cutting 140 or 50 acres of hay here on Monday. Today is Wednesday. And it looks like we're gonna get rain here on Thursday. We didn't figure we were going to be able to get everything cleaned up in time, so we chopped some of it yesterday, and then we're gonna bale the rest. Some of it had a fair amount of alfalfa in it, and we just felt, without having conditioners on the mowers, that it would have needed a little more time to cure out. And that's why we didn't come over with Jared yesterday. We were chopping, and he hauled a couple loads with the new Moss trailer and then went to Ted and Hay. Then 4620 was just kind of sitting there, so he figured he would just run over here last night to get this baler. So we'll get this tire blown up, and yes, we'll have to use the big air compressor. We've got an adapter to go on there so that we can just hook a regular air hose up to it. So we'll go ahead and get this winded up. Well, we had to hit this with the cheetah. All the tires need a little bit of air, so we're going to get them winded up to 35 pounds of pressure. And then we can roll on out of here. brought this baler over here when we did the seedings over here. We had a tractor issue or what, but we brought this tractor over here, and Andrew had to use the tractor that was on it for the roller, I thought. Well, we've caught up to Jared. We're just getting ready to go over the thruway here, and then we'll be going by the infamous train tracks. So we're gonna get back to the farm, and we've got to cover up a small pile of heifer haylage, and we'll service this baler. Got to get a couple of guys raking. And I've got to get that corn planter put away so we can move that tractor over onto this baler. Now every year we get this baler out and we have it in the field. Everybody's always asking, what is that big tank up on the baler? Well, that is for preservative to put on the hay. We don't use it all that much, but it is on there, and the John Deere baler that we have has one down in underneath the bale chamber. So he's getting ready to go over the train tracks here, and this is the set of train tracks where the bars come down like right when the train's 100 yards down the track. It's happened to us twice now. Actually, there's a train right there. There's a train right there. So we're gonna, oh, there it is. Now, so how quick does the bars? Okay, the bars are going down. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 seconds later, after the bars go down, the train is coming through. Wow. All right, so we'll go ahead and get back to the farm. I don't know if Jared's seen that or not. All right, let's get back to the farm. we got done raking a few minutes ago, and this here has a little more alfalfa in it. And I had Nate kick this out again with a tedder. He's up a couple strips up on that upper side up there. Tedding that, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get in to rake this in an hour or so or not. So Andrew, he took over with, boy, it's just not quite there. Andrew, he ended up going out with the 7730, and he's doubling ahead of Jared. So we'll do a little drive-by with Nate here. He's got the 4020 on a 10-star coon tedder. So we'll go up and check on him, give you a kind of a look-see. Oh, I might have to put it in four-wheel drive so I don't spin it. Oh, that clunky clunked. Yeah, I didn't give it time to engage. Oh my. So we'll give you a little look-see of the old 4020 on the coon 10-star tedder. So he's just kicking this out again. We need to get this baled here by tomorrow. So we've got 15 or 20 acres to bale today, and we have 20 to 25 to bale here for tomorrow. So it looks like he's just got one more strip left to do here, and we're just trying to speed this drying process up a little bit here. That's what the old 4020 looks like on the Coon GF 10812T tedder. That's a 1970 model 4020. My grandfather bought that brand new. Jared painted that a couple of years ago. So we have two tedders. This one's a little different than the other one. It's a little newer, and it's got a slightly different hitch on it. The other one, we've got all of the wheels welded so that we can't do the fence row thing anymore with it. In other words, we can't turn all of the wheels that are on each individual star. So we're just trying to speed up the drying process of this hay a little bit. Yeah. So he's got 3 more pieces to do after this. And then, yeah. So this is just kind of flipping bottom sides up about halfway. Not quite. Not quite. It'll gain us maybe 10% drying time. It looks dry, but it's got a little bit of a cold touch to it, and it needs a little more. Now, we don't have, the problem is we don't have conditioners on our mowers. They are just a cutter head. And the reason why we don't have conditioners is because we are primarily doing hay for harvesting as far as with the forage harvester. We don't do much, we don't hardly do any dry hay. So it can be done with the style mower that we have. However, it takes a couple more days to dry it down. I apologize, we got this big mirror in the way. Maybe if we just fold that guy in a little bit there, you can get more of a visualization of what that's doing there. So we'll go ahead and check on Jared and Andrew now. I thought maybe I would be able to sneak in and rake a little bit of this, but it's a little late in the day now. We just need to let this lay and pick it up here tomorrow. So we will go ahead and check on Jared and Andrew. Nathan doesn't want to wave. Kicking it out. Yep. Alrighty, let's go check on Jared and Andrew. Well, we just pulled into the first field that we raked here. So we raked everything up single so that I could give it the most amount of time to dry out. We're having to go back in now and double it. Andrew jumped on the 7730 here, and he's doubling everything up, and Jared is baling. So we have the 7730 on the smaller set of rakes. This is a 7922, and that is a little smaller than that other set. I forget the number, but at any rate, yeah. So we got the 8320 on the LB 333 Case International baler. So we do have a 100 baler, a John Deere 100. That baler is just about 20 years old, and we kind of saved that for emergency situations and so on and so forth. We just don't need to have that break down if we don't have to use it. So I'm crossing windrows and everything else. I probably have hay wound around my drive shaft and everything else, but at any rate, yeah. So when I pulled in the field, Jared had number 3 knotter that didn't tie. He had to re-thread that one. It looks like he's got that fixed there now because he's still moving. Andrew's kicking out the outside windrow, kicking that back in. Jared will probably bale that one last. Oh, looks like Jared worried about him getting a little too close there. So you might be wondering, why in the heck are you running duals, Andy? Because we ain't gonna take them off. That's why. We just got done planting corn. If we took the duals off of that tractor there, we would have to move the inner wheels out, spend a half a day on doing that, and yeah, it's just not worth monkeying around. And then you end up with your inner tires wore out more than your outer tires, and it just creates a mess. Plus, it just looks cool, right? Yeah, just looks cool. That's the other reason why we like to double up our windrows, because if we're running with duals on, yeah, sometimes you drop a bale right next to where your next windrow is, your next pass. We have some pretty good ruts right there from chopping this. We actually chopped this piece last year, and he lifted up over the top of them ruts so that he wasn't shoving the rake right into the ground there. I'll show you these ruts. That's why he skipped it. He didn't skip it because he didn't know what he was doing. He skipped it because I told him to. We're not going to trash the rake just for 20 cents worth of hay. So what I want to do, I want to jump up on there. I see he's got some twine tied to the metering shaft, the wheel. That kind of what it does is it trips the knot, and I don't want that string to get wound up in the bearing. When he rethreaded the knotters, he ended up tying the top string to the knotter shaft, or the, yeah. So we're gonna jump up on there, and we're gonna ride around a little bit. So we're gonna jump up on here. We're gonna tell him that he can go. We're gonna cut that string right there. What that star wheel does there is, as the bales get made, it trips that arm so that it ties each and every bale at the same length. We'll try that. We'll get on over here and we will open up the nodder cover here. We'll kind of show you how this works. This metering wheel, the hay's coming through. So once that gets to a desired length, it's going to trip that arm right there, and it's almost ready to trip. When it trips that, it's going to tie. But he hasn't really got a lot of hay going through. He's trying to clean up these end rows here, or these headlands rather. It's almost there. It's going to hit an open spot in that toothed arm. And then that is going to activate the nodders. Bang. Needles come up. Whoop. Put the twine in there. Everything twists around. The bill hook comes around. Pulls the string up in. It twists it. Pulls it back down through. We'll try to get a slow motion of that here in a couple minutes. Got twine boxes on each side of the baler. This baler here has a pre-cutter on it, so what it does is it runs the hay past knives that are in the chamber as the hay comes through, but we don't have the knives up in there. We can put, I don't know how many knives in, but we don't have any of them in there. We want this stuff long. We want the mixer wagon. We probably should be cutting it, but we handle these bales so many times that we want to have a nice square bale. You can see our knots. Bang, bang, bang. This baler ties 2 sets of knots. There's one set of knots on the bottom of the bale and another set on the top side of the bale. With having 2 knots, it does make, or has the ability to make, a tighter bale. And how this whole tying system works is the bale chamber starts out at a wider dimension up there. Then what we have is a squeeze put on this chamber from each side and from the top. And what that does is allows the bale, or the material as it comes through, to be squished in real tight. Therefore a string can be tied around it, and then as it exits the chamber, the bale is able to, it's being compressed, it's able to expand to its original shape. You would not be able to tie string around a tight bale if you weren't able to push in on the chamber. So the thought behind this having 2 sets of knots is it has the ability to tie or make a more denser bale. I can't figure out how to do a slow motion tie here, but I'll try to do it right now. So the tie arm is coming up and the rest of this is going to be slow motion. how well I did with a slow motion tie there, but yeah. So the other thing this baler has, it has this preservative tank on here. Well, I should open this back up. Let me open this back up. So some of you have seen this tank that's on this baler here, and what that is for preservative. There's sensors on here. We can adjust the application of how much preservative it puts on the hay with a projected moisture number. There's sensors on that star wheel on that far side there. There's one that's actually broken. You can kind of see down in there. And what that does, it more or less works as a gap sensor. And being that the star wheel is down in the hay, believe it or not, it can read the moisture or the, I don't know if it's the continuity from the star wheel down into the hay or what, but it knows what the moisture is just by sensing the star wheel, the mini star wheel. So that's how that there works. So these 4 indicators here are for the twine. They are, the twine comes up through those, comes down into the knotter. He's got an indicator on his monitor as well. And if one of them was to be up, that means he doesn't have a twine in whatever knotter that would be. We got 1 through 4, starting with 1 on the left, 4 on the right. So it looks like Andrew has this just about done, and Jared has a few pieces to do after this here. There goes that valve right off. So there's a plunger that's going back and forth. It's stroking with those arms right there. So it's making a stroke every time it's going through. The hay comes into the chamber, and when that hay comes into the chamber, it just kind of sits there. As the pickup head brings it in, there's a stuffer fork that brings it. Well, no, that's not correct. Pickup head brings it into the chamber. Once that comes into the chamber and there's enough hay in there, it senses it by how much hay is in there. Then the forks pick it up into the plunger. So we are plunging, making a stroke every so many seconds or so many strokes a minute. However, it is not feeding material into the bale every time it makes a stroke. So you see there's a sensor down in there. We'll show you that in a second here. That is building the amount of material in the stuffer chamber. Once there gets to be enough material in there, it will trigger that stuffer. There's 4 forks that pick it up into the actual bale chamber. So right now there's no material going into the chamber, the plunger, bang, right there. The stuffer just got activated. It got activated again. Activated again. Every time that bangs around, that is being activated. We can adjust that stuffer stroke to be either a long stroke or a short stroke. We got it set for a short stroke. In other words, it will trip when it's about half full. The John Deere baler has material coming up into the plunger all the time. So if you don't have a lot of material coming up into that baler, it will build a banana bale. In other words, if it doesn't have enough material coming up to fill the chamber from the bottom to the top, it will make a dense bale on the bottom and it will be looser on the top, therefore making a banana bale like that. So Andrew's all folded up, he's shut down, and he is ready to head to the next field. Well, Jared is just about done with this first piece here. And this baler we've had for, I don't know, how long have we had this for, you think? 10 years? Can't remember when we got this, 2012, maybe? Yeah. Well, at any rate, we don't bale a lot of material. This baler has 17,742 bales on it. The nice thing about using this baler on a tractor like this, you don't need the baler controller. You can run the baler right, because it's isobus, you can run it right through the armrest control unit. The only thing that we're not running that came with this baler is the preservative, and that comes with a separate controller, and that does not run through the armrest control unit there. So with that being said, this makes this a lot handier. However, when Jared set this up, what was it, last year or the year before, you had to update the monitor, you had to download a new...
Yeah, I don't remember, you had to download something or update.
So he needed to put the receiver on this tractor, which it's got the receiver on there still, and he had to download a new, oh, I don't know what the heck it would have been, a new driver, if you will, for the Case International baler. So anybody that is not using a controller for whatever piece of equipment you have that runs through isobus, if it doesn't come up on your armrest control unit, just download the new updated version of whatever software you need. So like I said, he's just about done here, and he's gonna move along to The next field, you moisture sampled some of this. What was the moisture on it?
Below 14.
Below 14. So this is nice and dry, right where we want it. And everything has been working very nicely here. So that is gonna do it for this video, folks. I want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you at the next one. A little bit of dry hay action. We're not like the big boys on YouTube's here with multiple balers running and everything else, but you know, we do our little bit to contribute to the entertainment factor here. All right, take it easy.